Live from CGT Studios in Los Angeles, California, I am Edward Earl.
And I'm Chuck Jewett with Hull Brothers Roofing.
And today on the show, what I wanted to do is we've got a circumstance that's happening in Beverly Hills that is of great concern to the residents there. And I brought Chuck on the show because he is basically and most likely the most experienced and the most knowledgeable about this ordinance and things that are happening that are affecting the residents of Beverly Hills. So, Chuck, thanks for being on the show.
Mr. Earl, thank you very much. Well, we're here to kind of talk to a specific class of business owners and homeowners in the city of Beverly Hills and to bring to their attention a modification to the city of Beverly Hills ordinances.
Right.
This is specifically called a wood roof ordinance. And the city of Beverly Hills has adopted this ordinance, and basically the meat is that by July 1st of 2013, all businesses and homeowners with wood shake roofs have to have re-roofed and re-roofed with a roofing material that is called a Class A fire-resistant product.
Right.
So everyone pretty much recognizes Underwriters Laboratory. They're one of the nation's biggest testing agencies, and they're saying that the city of Beverly Hills is basically saying that we want you to get rid of the wood roofs, and we want you to put on an Underwriters Laboratory Class A fire-rated roof. This was basically brought about by a wildfire in 2007.
I was going to say, this has got some legs. This has been going on for quite a while now. It's nothing new.
It is nothing new. The city of Beverly Hills has talked about creating this ordinance for some years now, but the fire that was called the Franklin Canyon Fire of 2007 was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. The fire started in Los Angeles area, but embers from the fire were blown onto 3 homes in Beverly Hills that had wood roofs. 2 of those homes were significantly damaged, and a third had enough damage to I think, put the homeowners out of the house. So this was really the straw that broke the camel's back.
Now you've got some experience with the city of Beverly Hills. You've been around there and have an enormous amount of experience involved in not only the residents and the business community, but also maybe a little in the politics end of things and in consulting with the city of Beverly Hills on certain circumstances. So,
well, yes, I was contacted by the Department of Building and Safety for the city of Beverly Hills probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And it was kind of a surprising phone call. I wasn't expecting them to call me. Usually it means trouble. And I was thinking, I don't have anybody working in Beverly Hills. But they were very, very pleasant, as always, and they basically just said, we'd like to talk to somebody and bounce some questions off a roofing contractor. So I was very honored that they decided to give me a call. They certainly had a lot of other roofing companies to contact. So I was able to answer their questions and help them in some processes that they were going through with permit issuing. But we have a very, very long history doing the actual roofing in the city of Beverly Hills. We have a wonderful reputation with their building inspectors also.
Right. So you guys have really got an entrenched history. You know, not a pun, but you really are a part of the woodwork of that particular city, both residentially and commercially.
That is correct. We have done a lot of work in the city of Beverly Hills. My company is very, very old. We're right next door in Culver City. I've been with Hull Brothers Roofing for 19 years now. But we have a huge clientele list in the city of Beverly Hills and wonderful referrals.
Right. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why you guys are so connected to this particular ordinance, and in conjunction and connection with the ordinance that's been put forward by the city of Beverly Hills, you guys have developed a program for all the residents out there and commercial organizations going forward. And I think when you're out there doing that, describe some of the things that are happening and what will be happening for them.
Well, there is a deadline, and the deadline is July 1st of 2013, and that is sort of a drop-dead date that you have to have the Class A roof covering. So that gives those persons about 20 months. My company is very well positioned to go and meet with the clients, go and assess the type of roofing they have. Do they really need to re-roof? Is there some way that they could, is there some other avenue they might pursue? And we are able to provide them with an assessment, provide them with consultation, and if it is just the bare facts that they are looking at re-roofing the home, we can provide them with a very competent bid, material choices, and so forth.
Right.
If there are people that are just looking at re-roofing their home to comply with this ordinance, we would be very well qualified and very well positioned to help them with that.
Because I think you guys, when we were talking about it prior to the show, you were talking about going out almost from a customer service or a community service standpoint and doing the assessments, because that's important. You need to understand that anybody that's in the Beverly Hills area, commercially or residentially, this ordinance does impact you. And so initially, before you do anything, contact Hull Brothers, and then you obviously will be contacting the community itself and putting out an initial assessment to just understand where you actually are. You know, how much out of compliance, I think you guys called it a compliance assessment, to find out if there's a compliance issue, and then how deep of a grade, how graded is the issue, how much out of or in compliance they are, and then what they might need to do in order to get there. Sometimes it might be small, the efforts, and sometimes, like you said, there might be a complete re-roof needed. But first, more than anything, let's just assess before I think anybody makes any big drastic moves.
Yeah, exactly. There are going to be situations where homeowners need some help with evaluating what is even on the roof. Some people may feel very comfortable in saying this is a wood roof. We need to do something different, but there are going to be situations where there are real questions about, do I need to incur this expense? Do I need to start with a bidding process? And we have, again, worked in the community for decades and decades now, and we feel some obligation to provide services for the homeowners and the business owners there.
Right. So looking at that, this is on the City of Beverly Hills website, and it's talking about the Wood Roof Ordinance, and this is a picture of, I guess, one of the homes that incurred that. And it's kind of amazing that this kind of impact is created by just embers from a fire that was a decent ways away.
That is absolutely correct. The wood roofs have absolutely no fire rating whatsoever. They are physically kindling for a fire. When the underwriter's laboratory comes up with specifications and fire classifications, they do these tests with what they call a burning ember test. And so they will determine a piece of wood, a certain type of wood, a certain size. They will ignite it, put it on the roofing material, and then you have
they just lay it on the roofing
They
material.
actually just lay it on the roofing material, and it will either extinguish itself within a certain period of time, or it will burn through the roof covering and it will get to the wood substrate. Once it ignites the wood substrate, you physically have a house fire going. So with, for example, Class A fire-rated roof, the burning ember will extinguish itself before it ever burns through. And these time periods are usually an hour. And it basically means once that ember lands on your roof, and it would be an ember that is originating someplace other than your own home being on fire. It's coming from a wildfire. It's coming from a neighbor's home that's burning. But it basically means that once that ember lands on your Class A roof, you have maybe an hour for the fire department to respond. And this is basically a very reasonable time in most normal conditions. Wildfires are being quite the exception. However, a burning ember from any source of any kind whatsoever landing on a wood roof, a wood shake roof, a wood shingle roof, there is no burn time. In other words, there's no margin of error. It ignites the roof and it is on fire. So the City of Beverly Hills is taking a very proactive approach to protect their residents and their business owners.
Right.
And they have certainly had experience with what the results are of burning embers and wood roofs. Not to change the subject, but there have been wildfires since the beginning of time. But if we go back to about 10 years in San Gabriel, there were wildfires that burned one home after another, neighbor by neighbor by neighbor home. And I think the most dramatic news footage I ever saw was a helicopter shot, not unsimilar from this one, where the homes on each side of a house that was not burning were completely engulfed in flames, and it was obvious and simple to see the wood shake roofs that were on those two homes. In the center was a home with a tiled roof, which is a Class A assembly, and the fire department was on the road right in front of these homes, or right in front of the home that wasn't burning. They were spraying water on this guy. They weren't spraying water on the neighbors.
They knew those homes were
Right. They were doing protection of the exposure. The exposure was to this guy who had a Class A roof. It was a tile roof in this situation. You don't need tile to get a Class A rating, but the fire department will spend time saving this house. They know there's nothing they can do about these others. They're burning from the top down, and that's just the end of the story.
Right.
So again, the City of Beverly Hills is they are being proactive. They are giving homeowners about 20 months to comply with this ordinance.
Right, which in reality sounds like a lot of time, but in essence, it really isn't as long of a time span as one might think. That can go pretty quick.
It can go very quick, and with the 19 years that I've been working in Beverly Hills with Hull Brothers Roofing, it's my opinion there's at least 1,000 houses that may not be compliant with the new ordinance. It's almost like there is going to be a dramatic rush of construction going in. I think this can kind of set up a beautiful situation for failure. I don't want to say it's something as dramatic as the type of contractors that were out there after the 1994 earthquake, where there was so much damage to so many homes and so many consumers were, they were ripped off. They lost money and they didn't get the work done to boot.
Yeah, this isn't as cataclysmic as that, but still, it creates an opening for that same opportunity for that to happen.
Right, I believe it can.
Which I think is what has been so impressive and why you guys have worked in conjunction with the ordinance to put a plan out there for the residents and the businesses out there going forward, at least with a compliance assessment, and then looking at that and finding out where they are, and then going forward with some kind of strategy based on what is really legitimately needed, and to be able to do that. And I don't think you guys are charging for that as a community.
No.
As a community service.
No, that is absolutely correct. We do not charge for the assessments. We don't charge for consultation. We're delighted to talk with everyone. We realize this is an unusual situation. In my 19 years, this would be the first time that a city has put this type of requirement on their residents.
It's a pretty bold move, but obviously you look at the types of things that are happening, and it's so well illustrated, where you've got the wood roofs and house after house after house, but the Class A roof is literally the one that's salvaged.
This is a picture directly from the City of Beverly Hills website that is called the Rood Ordinance. It's not a coincidence that they have put this picture into this website. Now, this is just a plain example of the difference between the salvaging this home, saving this home, and its contents. It's one thing for an empty house to burn, but the contents can be irreplaceable. But it's not a coincidence that they have this photograph, and it's the destruction that surrounds this house. It is not impossible that the neighbors had wood shake roofs. It's not impossible that there was a wood shake roof up here that was the origin of an ember.
Right.
it ignited the entire neighborhood. And
In a
these are
very short matter of time.
in a very short matter of time. So they're trying to illustrate to their homeowners the difference between absolute destruction and salvaging a property, salvaging your home and your possessions here.
And literally, in this case, almost an entire neighborhood.
Just devastated. It never will be the same. There's nothing but empty lots and new construction going on in this area. So the ramifications are just beyond comprehension sometimes. You know, we've had 20 inches of rain. We continue to get a rain every other week now. The hills are alive. They're greening up. They're growing very strongly. There's going to be a lot of fuel for the next fire, just based on what we've had right now.
It's funny, not to belabor that, but we love the rain because of what it can do, but it actually does create an enormous amount of fuel and tinder for when the summer months come in and all that dries out. Now we have 2, 3, 4 times the foliage that'll go up just like that.
That's correct. The rains are beautiful. I love them. They produce business. They produce beautiful hills and lots of growth. That does all dry out during our regular summers, and historically in September, October, we get those Santa Ana winds. And I know that, for example, the city of Beverly Hills will send their engine companies and their truck companies and have them drive through the hills on those type of days, and they're waiting and looking, and that's all they do. They're very proactive. They go after, they station their equipment, or they stage their equipment in the hills, and they just basically wait and see if they make it through the day.
Yeah. So it's like we talked about, folks. If you're in that area, Hull Brothers is helping everyone in connection with the ordinance to understand if they're in compliance, and then the strategies moving forward on what to do so you can get this taken care of within the 20 months that has been allotted from this time point. And we've got all the contact information for your organization that's down below here on the screen. You can see that. Any last words of advice for the residents or the businesses?
Well, we want everyone to know that we have been around a very long time, and we are right in your neighborhood, and we are available at a moment's notice to come and provide information. We're doing that for free. I don't know, there may be some silver lining in this whole traumatic type of process or the next 20 months. Number one, a lot of homeowners may simply have been saying, I know I have to do this. I've known for years I've had to do this. A lot of homeowners may have actually received letters from their fire insurance companies that have said, you've got to do something with your roof or we're going to cancel your fire policy. So I don't think that that this is going to be a complete surprise to the vast majority of of this sophisticated city. If there's any kind of silver lining, if you undertake the re-roofing process, you get through the re-roofing process, you have a beautiful brand new fireproof or fire-rated roof, it's going to add tremendous value to your property, number one. But also, number two, every time we do a new Class A fire-rated roof, and particularly when it's in a high fire area, we tell the homeowner, call your fire insurance company today. Tell them, I've done it. I've re-roofed. I'm done with it. I've got a Class A fire-rated roof on my home. I want my fire insurance reduced. Now, one of our very best stories, and it's absolutely true, we re-roofed a home above Sunset Boulevard.
Fairly high-profile client.
Extremely high-profile client, a wonderful gentleman. Very patient with us. It was a big, tough job, and it was very expensive. It was extremely expensive. When we were finished, we said, contact your fire insurance agent and see what they can do for you. In this situation, the client had an annual reduction of $10,000.
Wow.
The fire insurance probably dropped $8,000 per year. The contents of the home were irreplaceable. It was also a very large home. So if there's any kind of silver lining, maybe through just a process of education and a drive towards safety, you can get rid of the danger or your exposure to fire, especially from wildfires. The value of the property can appreciate, and you can get a reduction in your fire insurance. Maybe the reduction will help offset the total cost of re-roofing. It's a cost, or it's a savings spread out, a return of investment that's spread out over probably 10 years or so, but it may be money better spent on your roof than paid to an insurance policy that you that is inflated to begin with to take into consideration your fire risk.
Yeah, it really does make a difference. So, folks, the contact information is down below, and you're going to be hearing from Hull Brothers as they're out into the community providing this community service. These compliance assessments, they are the ones that are kind of heading this and pushing this this agenda forward in your industry as it is in connection with the Wood Ordinance at Beverly Hills. And Chuck, we appreciate you being on the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Guys, we'll talk to you then. Thanks so much.